when you have two little ones at home, filming in the daytime isn't always possible, so I'm not in front of my usual natural light. But we're gonna make this work, people, because today we are talking about sensory processing. Thanks for joining in. I'm Casey Waugh. I'm an occupational therapist from Pittsburgh, and today we're going to talk about sensory processing. This is going to be part of a series that talks about eventually sensory processing disorder, but before we talk about what it looks like when things don't go well, let's talk about what it should look like and what sensory processing is in the first place. Sensory processing is just the words that are used to describe how your body takes in information from the world around it, processes it up in your brain, and then gives an output. So input comes in, brain processes, and your body responds to that input. That whole process is what is considered sensory processing. A common analogy when it comes to explaining sensory processing is thinking of your body as a computer. Input comes in through the keyboard, gets processed by the computer brain, and then the output is whatever the computer shows you. So in a computer that is functioning appropriately, your input is the keys being pressed on the keyboard. The computer then shows you as an output the letters that you typed. So your input gives you an output that makes sense and matches the environment. It matches what happened. So that computer is working functionally. So what happens if you are typing? The computer processes something incorrectly. Let's say a key is stuck and you keep getting a G when you're pressing an H. Let's say your cursor isn't in the right spot and nothing happens, or you get an error message popped up. That would be a disconnect. What you're putting in, the input, is not matching what you're getting on the screen. That's kind of an example of when things don't get processed the right way, i.e. sensory processing disorder. Quiz time. How many senses do you have? If we're talking about sensory processing, what all are we processing? Put your answer in the comments down below. Let me know how many senses you think I will be talking about in this video. According to elementary school health class, you might say 5. Touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. For the purposes of this video, we are going to talk about 8 senses. Yes, 8. And let's just suffice it to say that there are more than that. There probably will be more named a year from now, 10 years from now, but today we're going to talk about 8. And those senses are, yes, the 5 that you know from elementary school health class, and the other 3 that may be new to you are the vestibular system, the proprioceptive system, and the interoceptive I can't say that. Interoception is the last one, the interoceptive system. We will quickly review those 5 senses: sight, your eyes; hearing, your ears; smell, your nose; taste, your tongue; and what am I missing? Touch. All of your skin has touch receptors in it. Those are the 5 commonly known senses that we can all agree on. So what about those other 3? First, we'll talk about the vestibular system. So the vestibular system tells you where your head is in position to the world. So if you're upside down, even if your eyes are closed, you know that your head is upside down. It responds to movement and how fast your head is moving. If you're going in circles, if your head is over here, it tells you where your head is in space, which is important for a lot of reasons. But the receptors for this system are in your ear. So maybe if you have a cold and your head is all stuffed up and you stand up too fast, you feel really dizzy. That's because the receptors for this are right inside your inner ear. So if you're stuffed up, that's going to get a little bit messed up too. But the vestibular system responds to movement and speed, and it tells you where your head is in relation to everything else in the world. The proprioceptive system tells you where your body is in space and where your body is in relation to the world around you. The receptors for that system are in your joints and in your muscles. So think about if you are sitting at a table and you have your legs crossed. Even though you can't see your legs, you know that your legs are crossed because you can feel them. You have receptors that tell you where your body is and how far you need to bend your leg. If you're walking up the stairs, as an adult, you don't need to necessarily look at every step. Your body knows how high to reach up that leg to get onto the step because your muscles and your joints have receptors that tell you where your body is and how you're moving it. The final sense we will introduce today is interoception. So this is a newer one. When I was in school getting my master's degree, we didn't talk about this one. So this just goes to show that senses, as we discover new things and as we learn more about human nature, we add new things. So, which is great. That's what science is for. So the interoceptive system is the sense of what's going on inside your body. So hunger, having to go to the bathroom, when you're full after you eat, if you're tired, those kinds of senses, being aware of how your body feels, that is interoception. This video is not going to go into sensory processing disorder. That is part 2 of this series. The final note I will make is that each sensory system does not work in isolation. I think I'm going to make my new tagline, "It's not a straight line," because I think I say that in every video. But sensory systems do not work in isolation, so treatment and diagnosis should not work in isolation, looking only at one sensory system or one environment at a time. Everything in your body is connected some way or the other. So that is why occupational therapists are really your best bet if you do end up having a need for professional help when it comes to sensory processing, because we look at the big picture. We look at your function, not just one symptom in one environment. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series when we go into sensory processing disorder, because let's be honest, that's why you came to this video, so we could explain what sensory processing is before we talk about sensory processing disorder. I get really excited about explaining sensory processing disorder because it's a concept that gets thrown out a lot, but it's not very easy to understand. It's kind of abstract. So yeah, it's coming soon. If you're watching this in the future, then there will probably be a tag up there somewhere telling you to click here. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell and all that fun stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.